And joining us now to discuss these recent moves by President Donald Trump in the Middle East is Israel's Special Envoy for Innovation and one of the leading voices in Israel on the Abraham Accords, Fleur Hassan Nahum. Fleur, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on. What's your initial response to Trump's strong comments against the Islamic Republic at the GCC? And how does that jive with his recent announcement that Qatar will now be involved in those nuclear negotiations?
Well, Emily, thank you for having me. It's a mixed bag, as we have learned to expect from Trump sometimes. I'm very pleased that he's been unequivocal about the fact that Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. I think he understands that fundamentally. He understands that it's a risk for his country and it's a risk for civilization. And even though they are at the same time negotiating, it seems, I think it's very clear that he will remain or has remained strong in his stance that there's no option but to ensure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon.
Now, yesterday we saw Trump sign a $1.2 trillion deal partnering with Qatar, a state that's actively supported Hamas for years and many other Islamist terror groups. They've bought American universities, companies, newspapers across the U.S. to advance really this Muslim Brotherhood agenda. Why is Trump expanding partnerships with Qatar?
That is really the mind boggles, especially when you see what he's doing with Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia has spent the last 20 years trying to get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood in their country, the Wahhabis. Also, the Emirates have done the same. They are fundamentally against Qatar. They are fundamentally, and they speak openly about the fact that Qatar is sponsoring the Muslim Brotherhood and providing a voice for them with Al Jazeera. And so this is a lot that Trump is trying to juggle. He's trying to juggle, I guess, a constructive relationship with Qatar, whilst at the same time, a constructive relationship with Saudi, which is actually contradictory in many ways. So that is something which is boggling. I'm hoping that the fact that Saudi Arabia is the much larger country, the much bigger economy, is going to win in the end. That's what we're hoping. And we all know how Saudi Arabia feel about the Iranian regime.
Now, in Syria, we saw Trump making demands of Ahmed al-Shara, a former al-Qaeda terrorist, to join the Abraham Accords and also deport Palestinian and foreign terrorists who are currently in Syria. This would be, of course, in exchange for lifting sanctions on Syria. Is this something that you see Syria actually going for under al-Shara? And will that sanction relief threaten Israel's security?
Well, I think that the challenge here is how do you pull al-Shara away from the Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS type, which is where he comes from, let's be honest. How do you pull him into the moderate Arab countries and away from the radical Arab countries of the region? And I think everybody's trying. Israel has managed to get rid of the immediate threat that's coming from Syria, destroyed all its whatever weapons of mass destruction they had left, taken over the other part of the Hermon to protect the Druze. And so I think that Israel has to play a smart diplomatic game of not saying no, but waiting and seeing what this man, if this man can actually deliver a country that wants a constructive relationship with the region and with Israel.
Right. Trust but verify. Now, all of these deals are being made so far without the involvement of Israel. Why is Trump attempting to push Israel out of the conversation, or is he?
Well, that's something that is as yet not clear. I want to believe that President Trump, as the person who opened up the Abraham Accords, wants to continue the wonderful work that he started. And in fact, he said that in front of the entire Saudi government. He said, we hope you join the Abraham Accords. We hope to expand the Abraham Accords. And this, honestly, is the biggest diplomatic success in the region in the last few decades. So I don't believe that Trump wants to abandon the idea of the Abraham Accords. He knows it's one of his big diplomatic successes. And I want to believe that he's not going to leave Israel out of that. What he's probably doing is worrying about the economic health of his country. And that, of course, comes first. And within his own cabinet, he has people who believe in the American first mantra, which is do what's best for your country, and then look at everyone. There's other people who have more regional outlooks. The question is, who's going to win?
All right. Well, unfortunately, I think we are out of time, but I want to thank you for shedding some light on these multiple deals coming to the forefront, and we'll continue to keep you updated as our viewers tune into ILTV. Thank you so much for joining us today, Israel's Special Envoy for Innovation, Fleur Hassan Nahum.
Thanks, Ed.